Hello everyone, welcome back to another weekly analysis and review on the forex market. Right, so on this video I'm going to explain the Euro AUD 1 to 15 risk to reward ratio trade, the setup and the entry. I'm also going to explain the AUD USD 1 to 14 risk to reward ratio setup and entry as well. Right, so as usual, we'll start by looking at what we discussed last week and see how it played out. Right, so last week I mentioned that on a Euro AUD in the 4-hour time frame, I'll be looking for entry buy setup when price gets into this order block. So price literally dropped into the order block, then I got my setup. So this is what happened. When price got into this order block, price gave a bullish move, and I was expecting it to get to this zone. And though it has not gotten here, I'm still expecting that price will get to this order block. But currently, Euro AUD has given up to 1 to 15 risk to reward ratio. Now let's look at what happened. So I was expecting price to get to this other block on the 1-hour time frame, and price actually pushed to it. From here, price pushed into the other block. Now let's look at it. So on a 1-hour time frame, price got into this other block, right? So from here, this is what I did. Price was coming down, creating lower lows and lower highs. At this point, when price dropped to this level, it pushed up with this push, created this high, and on return it took out this low with just a single pin, and no candle closed below this, the low of this candle, neither was there any pin piercing below it. Price moved away completely from this level, came here, tap on this high, drop below, tap on it again, drop below, and pushed out with this impulsive move above this high. So I was waiting for price to come back to this last bearish candle for me to take my entry. And when price pushed up, came back here, pushed up again, and finally dropped into my expected entry point, and that was what gave rise to this move. So I waited for price to come to my 1-hour order block. Then from there, I started looking for this pattern, and let's see what happened. So at the initial time, price gave up to 1 to 6.1. Later moved further to give 1 to 11. Okay, at this point it was 1 to 10, and finally currently price is at around 1 to 15 risk to reward ratio on Euro AUD. Let's move forward. Now I was also expecting Euro JPY to come to this order block for me to buy. I explained last week. This is what happened. Price dropped from there. Price created another order block, broke above this high. So I was also expecting that price may come here to buy, or price will drop to this below order block and buy. And this is what happened. So price broke through the higher order block, came to our initial expected order block, and bought. Next was gold. On gold, I mentioned that price tapped on this order block, and I was expecting price to break above it, to break above this high before I look for a sell. Then this happened. So this was a high I was waiting for price to break above, and price actually came there, broke above it, and dropped massively immediately. Although after then price continued in the upward direction, but my expectation was met. Then let's look at gold. Okay, right, so just to let you know how price moved after then, right? So when after this drop, price reversed and broke above the order block and continued up. So here, after this drop, price reversed, broke above the order block, pulled back and moved to the upside. Right, then I also look at NZD USD. If you remember, you go back to the video, you will see when I explained that I was expecting price has retested this order block about 4 times, and I was expecting price to pull back. That if price pull back to this order block, then I'll look for sell setup. This is what happened. What should I call this? Near miss or what? Right, so price actually got very close to that order block but didn't touch it and dropped massively to my expected TP target. Then I also look at NZD JPY, where I said if price break above this high, this pin, then I will look for sell setup. Price actually came there but didn't give me a setup for a sell, but continued up, and this is what followed thereafter. Then I also look at GBP CHF. I was expecting price to come back to this order block, then I'll look for buy setup to buy GBP CHF, and it actually respected my analysis. So you see, price came back into the order block and traded away before reversing to the downside. Then I also look at AUD. We also looked at AUD USD, where I said if price pulled back to this order block, then I was going to look for sell setup. So this is the second trade. I promised to explain the entry, the setup and the entry. So let's look at what happened on AUD USD. So expectation is price get to this order block, then we'll look for sell setup. Let's see what happened. Yeah, price pulled back to that order block and dropped massively. How did it happen? How would you have been able to take this trade? Let's look at it. Now look at this. I waited for price to get into this 15 minutes order block, and price tapped into it by taking out this high with a single candle, a candle with this long pin. Then price dropped to take out this low created here. Then on the return to this order block, that is the entry. You can as well look at it from the 5 minutes time frame. Look at it. The previous high was created here. Then here we also had a small high created here. Price drop, took it out with just a single candle. Drop by breaking by giving a change of character or breaking this low. Then this was the order block. Price came back to that order block and dropped massively. So this gave about 1 to 14.03 risk to reward ratio. You can also see that clearly here. You see this break of structure, price drop, give a market structure shift, then pulled back for a retest and all the way down. Right, so that was for AUD USD. Then I also mentioned that we are looking at AUD CHF, that with price pulled back to this order block, we sell. Price got to that order block and sold on AUD CHF. Then I was also expecting AUD CAD to drop from this order block here, and price got to the order block, sold, pulled back, drop a little and continue to the upside. This did not give me a setup anyway. Yeah, so those were the set of pairs we looked at last week. So let's look at what we have for next week here. So starting from the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to be looking at Euro USD. So Euro USD has been on the downtrend on the 4-hour time frame, and here I have this order block created here. Price drop and gave me a break of structure. So I'm expecting price to pull back to this order block, then I'll look for a sell setup to the downside. Remember, I've explained before that you are not just going to take your entry as price gets into the order block. Please, when price gets into the order block, drop down to lower time frame, look for a sell pattern before you take your sell. Right, so this is the only pair that I've seen something formed for me to really look at on the 4-hour time frame. Then I still have some setup I'll be watching on the 1-hour time frame. So on 1-hour time frame, I'm looking at GBP USD. So GBP USD is on a downtrend here, and I saw price gave me this breakout structure. Price pulled back into the order block already, but as at this time I do not have any sell setup. So hopefully when market open next week, I'll be looking forward to seeing price pull back into this order block again, and if I see a sell setup, then I'm going to sell GBP USD. Then I'm also going to be looking at NZD USD on the 1-hour time frame. Same thing has happened, same thing that happened on GBP USD. So we have this break of structure, price has pulled into this order block. On the 15 minutes time frame, almost tapping it here, but I didn't get my setup for itself. So if price will not break below this level and pull back into this order block, I will look for sell setup on NZD USD as market will open next week. Right, so some other setup, I have about 3 other setup I'm also looking at in a different method. Look at AUD NZD on the 1-hour time frame. I've seen this breakout structures, and I also see another breakout structure here. So I'm expecting price to come back to this zone. If price drop to this zone, I'll look for buy setup on AUD NZD. Then Euro CHF, I'm also looking at it. Euro CHF here. If price will continue to pull back up to this zone or order block, I'll also look for sell setup on Euro CHF. And finally, USD CHF, I'll be watching USD CHF. If price will drop to this level, then I will buy USD CHF. I'll look for the buy setup and buy USD CHF. One very important thing I consider too is timing. I don't trade at any time. There is a specific time I go to the market to check for my setup and trade. So I may be watching the market, but if the setup is right but not at the right time, at a convenient time for me, I won't take that trade. So if you have been finding my video valuable and making sense to you, please do well to subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification bell to be alerted anytime I upload a new video. You can comment and also like this video and share with your friends as well. I wish us all a good weekend and a profitable next week.